to Thailand. We brought the beamers and, of course, the Tellington TTouch work, with which my associate had been using on these elephants for 8 years. And so they were very accepting of her, and then they accepted us quite easily. And we allowed them to choose whether they wanted the beamers, which they chose. And the eldest elephant has been there, has a prosthetic leg and terribly injured 20 years ago. She's 60 years old. She came after almost 40 years of working in the jungle with logging until she had her leg amputated because of an accident. And her name is Motila. And I had told the elephants telepathically that I was going to wait for them to invite me. And Motila went through a very careful routine of approaching me. She went across in front of me to my left, and then she turned and started to go to my right, and then turned to face me to allow me to start interacting with her. And she took me to a whole different realm. And I went immediately. I saw pictures of the horrific abuse of the elephants that they've been subjected to for generations when they're babies and in most of their lives. But she also showed me that the elephants are still here, and they're going to be here because they forgive us, and they want to be part of the support triad. I believe it's the horses, the whales, and the elephants are the main ones who are sort of holding the lines of this earth together for all of us to maybe finally wake up and get it. And that was one of the most profound interactions I've had ever with any animal. And I think I cried the entire week I was there because all of the elephants had these messages for us.
Well, it's such an emotional experience to be with animals like that, and it reminds me of when I went to this retreat in Canada and worked with horses and had that same kind of experience you had with this elephant, with one particular horse there, the same thing. Whales and dolphins, elephants and horses are trying desperately to get messages to humans, and Sandra's work has certainly been helpful, and many, many others. And, you know, certainly there's more animal communicators, and if you tell someone you're calling an animal communicator, people don't look at you like you need your head examined anymore, because we've come such a long way. And we've had the wonderful work of Ted Andrews, his Animal Speaks book, with messages from the natural world, so that if you're walking and you see a deer that day, you can look up the history and lore surrounding that animal and maybe find a message. Because I think that it's not an accident when you're taking a walk or riding your horse and you see an owl and you haven't seen one in 2 weeks, or in your backyard and you find a thrush feather. There are messages all around us.
I totally agree.
Animals are trying so hard to wake us up as humans, and that extends to our household pets who are on the front lines for sure. But these large animals, it's such a profound experience. I really encourage people, horses are so easy to find, and if you live in Florida, you can go sit and watch the dolphins and the whales. But I really encourage people to spend time with horses and just feel the energy around them when they're out in their field, and the messages that they have for us. And you might have had this experience too, Helena. During some of my hospice pets and horses, I have really felt connected to what we refer to as like the ancestral herd or the ancestral pack, where you really feel the spirits of all of the animals that may have crossed that animal's life when he was alive, and ones that have crossed way before that are there to help him across the bridge.
Yes. I've gotten that, and I've also had it happen where there are humans and various species there that seem to be
absolutely
the passing. So, and by the way, the work I did with Ella greatly enhanced. I did take hospice for humans training and do some human hospice before I had a lot of family members, both animals and people, pass away in the last 10 years. But I was able to sit with my mother last year. She was passing, and my horses came, the dogs, there were cats, there were, we sensed, and she told us she saw her human family that had already passed on, and it was just profound, and I think it gave her some ability and clarity to be open and clear. And by the way, I had the beamer on her, so she wasn't in discomfort and didn't need a lot of meds, so she was very coherent.
Mm-hmm.
And so she could tell us about who she was seeing and so on. It was really beautiful.
And I think greeting those on the other side is part of the dying process, is, saying hello and feeling part of that world and coming back to this world, back and forth until you gradually make your way into that other world.
Agreed.
And I've certainly seen a horse that I was working with. Tracy, my friend, who we'll talk about when we come back, and I were working with him and calling in horses we knew across the bridge, and he greeted each one in a special way with a whinny or a nicker or a snort or a paw, and it was as if they were right in front of him, and it was just really profound to see that kind of reaction from something that seems like it's just in your head, but it was in his head and in his aura and his spiritual world as well.
Amazing. Yeah, I believe it, and I have one of my girlfriend's mother passed away recently, and she and her daughter and I were talking about how owls seem to bring messages and how we've been very delighted with the messages from owls, and that so they seem to sort of foretell things that are coming. And the day after I heard of her mom Patty's passing, I was walking in broad daylight, and an owl flew and landed right in front of me, sat there, and then flew off.
See, there's no coincidence. It's time that we need to take a break to hear from our sponsors, and we'll be back in a few minutes with more of our show. We'll be right back.
Interested in learning more? Visit physical therapist Sally Morgan's website at sallymorganpt.com, where you will find details about her upcoming speaking engagements, craniosacral therapy, and Tellington TTouch offerings, as well as information about holistic care for animals. Join the mailing list today and be the first to learn about upcoming events and special offers. Sally Morgan is a best-selling author, and her book, Dances of the Heart, Connecting with Animals, details her journey of learning to listen to animals. Her unique set of animal connection cards offers 52 activities to enhance your relationships with the animals in your life, and she suggests that you ask your pet to choose a card each week. Both Sally's book and her cards are available on Amazon and her website, sallymorganpt.com. Join Sally Morgan PT CST Daily on Facebook for conversations with a corgi, and visit YouTube for past episodes as well as Sally's TED Talk. When it comes to our pets' health, you can never be too careful. We invest significant time in ensuring that they have long and happy lives, but it's important to invest the same dedication into our own longevity. The key active ingredient in Dr. Morgan's wellness formula, pure New Zealand deer antler velvet, is now available as a standalone human-grade product. Life Deer Antler Velvet is a whole food supplement rich in calcium and collagen to support healthy joints and strong bones. Our products prioritize purity, ethical harvesting, and quality sourcing above all else. Visit lifepurerecovery.com to learn more and order your first bottle today.
Tune into world-renowned author, speaker, and holistic veterinarian Dr. Judy Morgan, and now radio host of Dr. Judy Morgan's Naturally Healthy Pets on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network every Monday and Tuesday, 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Not sure which vaccinations should be given or how often? Not sure which food is best for your individual pet? Find out the answers to your questions in this weekly show where Dr. Judy interviews top experts and showcases the latest products that will help your pets stay naturally healthy.
Does your dog have bad breath? Tired of spending money on expensive dental procedures? Try out Dr. Morgan's Dental Drops today and save money while maintaining your pet's oral health. With New Zealand deer antler velvet as the primary ingredient, Dr. Morgan's Dental Drops are effective for treating stomatitis, gingivitis, and ulcers. You can purchase Dr. Morgan's Dental Drops directly from Amazon Prime or from her website, www.drjudymorgan.com.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
Hello and welcome back. You're listening to Dr. Judy Morgan's Naturally Healthy Pets on DreamVision7Radio.com, and I'm your host, a holistic physical therapist for pets and people, and Dr. Judy's sister, Sally Morgan. And I'm here with my guest and friend, Helena Bresk, and we are reminiscing over the shows that we've had over the last year, because this is my last broadcast for Naturally Healthy Pets. So we were talking before the break about animals in transition, and I mentioned my friend Tracy Vroom, who, like me and Helena, is a Tellington TTouch practitioner. And we had Tracy on our second show to talk about her work with craniosacral therapy in horses. And Helena is also a craniosacral practitioner, as am I. Helena, what's your experience been like working with horses and other pets with cranial work?
Oh, just a wonderful addition to my work. I had trained horses for 40 years. Since I was really young, like 15 years old, I started training horses. And when I did my first craniosacral training, which was probably back in the mid-90s, the change in my ability to connect with the animals was really big. I felt like the Tellington Touch is so phenomenal. And then the craniosacral went another level to enhance what we could do with the Tellington Touch work, and actually felt not only some shifts in the physiology, but shifts in the ability of the animals to learn, think, and understand calmly and peacefully what they were being asked to do. And from having some difficulty, with training horses, sometimes you scare them and you get in a tight spot and you get hurt. And after I started adding the Tellington Touch and then the craniosacral, I just didn't have issues with them anymore. We had such a compatible, bonding, wonderful way of being together that it really changed everything.
Yeah, they talk in craniosacral therapy about that movement of the spinal fluid between the brain and the sacrum and back through the spinal cord as being the breath of life. And indeed, it could be one of the last movements in the body when we are dying. And it is so profound to connect with another being through that movement in the spinal cord. And really, that is a profound experience. And it really shifts how you are with an animal. And certainly with some of the bigger animals, it puts you in a much quieter place when you connect in that way. And I think you're right. It does make them more available to understand what we're asking them to do.
I really agree. And we did craniosacral with the elephants in Thailand.
Oh, you did?
Oh, we did, yes. And it's so phenomenal how gently you can work and actually connect with them in such a deep way and see shifts through their whole system, even their tails and such unwinding with just adding in some craniosacral.
Oh yeah, their heads are so enormous. I mean, when you see how big their skulls are and then the tusks hanging off of them and the giant ears, there's a tremendous amount of strain in their cranium, I would think, and their
trunk.
Yeah, they probably really enjoy craniosacral therapy, and I am betting that you might have observed them doing something like it on each other, because they really do need to relieve that tension in their spine from their giant heads.
Well, unfortunately, so many of the elephants that are work elephants or they're in sanctuaries are isolated.
Oh, yeah, that's really a crisis.
Yeah. The badly injured ones need very special care, and the hospital, I can't think of the name of it right now, the hospital where we were in Thailand has elephants that have actually stepped on landmines and have very serious long-term injuries, so they really can't be with other. They do have contact with elephants next to them, but they have to be so carefully protected. They really get most of their therapy from humans.